Good morning, good morning. My name is Simon Fune, and I'm a media coach for pastors, ministries, and coaches, and I help them get their message to its intended for building communities around that. And this morning, you're watching Ministry Media Mornings. It is a great segment, and I'm very excited about doing this, challenging myself to do it every day. Yesterday's broadcast is done. This is the process that was followed. We have obviously gone live with it. It was immediately posted or available on YouTube and Facebook. What we've done is we've taken that broadcast, downloaded it. It was an audio. We uploaded it as a podcast. It's available on, excuse me, it's available on podcast, on SoundCloud. Then we took that audio that we downloaded, we transcribed it, we made it text, and it's now also available on our website as a blog post called The 7 Ways that you can increase or reach your audience. And that is the process that we teach here at Ministry Media, Ministry Media Mastery. It is doing one thing and maximizing the effort and the reach and the impact that you can have on people on various platforms, in various formats, etc. And so that article is now live, and we're very excited to have that. And thank you so much for watching this after the broadcast. If you're live, thank you for joining us. And this morning, I want to share a simple thing with you. A couple of months ago, we started a campaign called COVID Proof Your Ministry. And to facilitate that process and get people to engage in the topic, I started and I wrote a book called COVID Proof Your Ministry. Right, and this I don't know how many pages is in there. But basically, we go and we talk about the problem. We share with you the solution, which is 4 pillars, and then we show you some examples. Now, after the launch of that, the book was launched, and then we did a launch of our platform, like a soft launch, just to introduce the ministry community on what we're doing and how we're doing it, and what's involved, etc. And to get that, we did 4 sessions, 4 masterclass sessions where I was teaching the different aspects of this concept. And I started out by sharing the 4. I started out by sharing the COVID proof path using ministry, media, and tech to reach people. Now, there were 3 problems. There is still 3 problems that we know exist when we talk about ministry and community. And that is that, 1, ministries are estranged from members they used to have, right? So they are disconnected from members that they had, especially with a lot of fear and with the people that they can't connect to, etc. The second thing is they need to connect to new people, build a new audience. So existing audience or community estranged from them, disconnected from them. The second one is we need to grow, because I have this saying, if you're not growing, then you're dying. Okay, so we constantly need to reach new people. That's also the progressiveness and the violence force of the kingdom. And then lastly, there was another thing that we found. So disconnection, reconnection, and obviously growing. So those are the 3 things that we identified need to happen in ministry. And here is how ministry media plays a part. That's what we're going to teach today. We're going to look at those 3 problems, and I'm going to share with you the COVID-proof path for reaching people and solving those 3 problems. Reconnecting to new people, reconnecting to estranged community members, reconnecting to new members, and growing your ministry. And to facilitate that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a slide that I prepared for this to share with you the COVID-proof path, and then we're going to go straight into how that works. So as you can see, here's a map. Now, I don't think I have to explain the concept that a ministry's path, its drive, where it's going, its calling, its purpose, everything is like a map. And we often how faith works is we go and we simply obey and we walk and we go where God sends us. And so often we see this, this scribble on this map is the way, and the way that we walk and the way that we follow. We don't go straight to the X. We don't go straight to the X. We find that we obviously sometimes walk the scribbly path and road. Now, I'm not saying what I'm going to share with you today is going to make it a straight path. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that we know what ministry is like. All right, and we found these three problems. We're disconnected from community members we used to have, and they are now estranged. And this I explain in the teaching, and let me explain it here as well. Why are we estranged from them? Well, in the community's eyes, I was hurting. It was going difficult with me. And where was the ministry that I belonged to, that I served in, that I attended, even if I attended it once a month? You were my home. And where were you when I was hurting? Where were you when things were difficult? So that's one of the reasons. There wasn't a connection. Let's be honest, the church was hurting as well. And at the beginning of the pandemic, church was hurting, ministries were hurting. It was difficult. Why? Mostly attendance is low, finances is dissipated. And so on my website, there's a article, 10 ways that you can grow your finances in your ministry. And we share that with you. But one thing that we see and that we found is that is the case. Trust has been broken. So we need to fix that. Then we want to connect and grow. We want to connect to other people as well. And then we also want to grow our ministry. And so here's a path that you can follow. Now, I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to share it out of the context of our 4 pillars to a successful ministry media platform. That framework, I'm going to share it out of that, and it's going to make sense. So let me first share what those 4 pillars are. Okay, the 4 pillars for successful ministry media platform. And today, what I'm going to teach, you're going to need media and tech to make it happen. The first one is content. Content needs to be created and broadcasted or distributed. Okay, that needs to be done consistently. That's the second pillar. So consistent content going out. What's going to happen naturally from that is community is going to evolve, and then collaboration helps you 10x that. So that's the framework. Content, consistency, community, collaboration. And you'll see how the path that I'm going to share with you today kind of comes together. It follows that. So I'm going to draw from that framework, and I'm going to share with you here. So the first thing, the first way how this path works is that you're going to draw people to your ministry. Now, how does this happen, Ivan? Well, it happens through the content that goes out. So it doesn't matter what the content is. Usually the content that you share is going to be closely connected to your calling. It is going to be your message. It is why you exist. As a person, you exist, and why your ministry exists. All right, and we can go do a lot of exercises around that and ask questions like, who's my message for? What do I need to share with them? When do I need to share it to them? So there's a lot of factors involved in the content and how it comes across and what that is. But the content going out is going to draw people. Why? Because you're going to focus on this one key. There's a scripture that says, when I am lifted up, Jesus talking about him on the cross. When I am lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. And that is the key. Is when we have Christ-centered ministries, when we have ministries that are focused on this message of the cross, that's when you'll draw people. It's going to be curiosity. It's going to be calling. It is going to be. It's not because of us. Let's be honest. It's not because we are great or we are eloquent or whatever. Paul very clearly speaks about that and says, it's not because of eloquence of words, but because it's the simplicity of the message. And as we do that, content goes out. And the other key is consistency. That's the second pillar. So it's going to be content going out, and it's going to be content consistently. Out of my well, overflowing comes, and that's what I'm gonna what is being shared. So it's content consistently being shared. What happens? We draw people to our platform, our ministry, etc. So that's the first step in the path. The second one is connection. Now, as I shared previously, because of the consistent content going out, you're naturally going to find a community develop. Now it's your responsibility to connect them. Ivan, how do I connect them? Well, that's the key. In your messaging, as you have your audience and you have your audience grow and you have more attention, what's going to happen is you're going to have to find a way to connect them. Now, there's lots of ways that you can do that. This is where technology comes in, all right? You're going to have to probably use a SMS service. If you're in the US or Canada, there's a tool called Text in Church that you can use, and they've got almost an autoresponder process that you can set up beforehand, and people can literally just SMS. Here in South Africa, you're going to use SMS services. There's lots of them where people SMS a word, right, to a number and automatically get a message with a link perhaps, and then they can click on that and they can fill in the information, Poppy Act, etc. But that's basically how it works. All right. So you gotta and so if you live stream, you say, hey, SMS this word to this number and connect with us. There's always got to be some way. Your content means nothing if you're not able to have a call to action attached to it. So you've got to have someone that's going to come and they are going to connect with you. You have to find a way to connect them. Send them to your website, let them fill in a connection card. Then you need to find a way to get this audience that you've now drawn to you to connect to you. Join my Facebook group. Here is my link to my WhatsApp group. Connect there, whatever. But the more engaged you are, the more information you have, the better. The best tool I think to use is going to be Planning Center, where in Planning Center you have a database management system called People, and then they have a groups function, for instance, or groups platform. And this platform, what you can do is in the system, you can go and create a form. So people fill in a form with whatever information you need, and then you set an automatic process. So automatically, because people fill in the form, they are going to be connected to a group, and that group then helps you have their data. So you can see, okay, this is the people in this group, and you can also set up events in there, and it's connected to another tool within Planning Center, and your events. You're just then going to set up reminders. So a day or two before events where you connect with people, maybe it's a Zoom call, maybe it's a broadcast like this, maybe it's your live stream. Your live stream happens, but in that interface, what you do is you have an event, and people get a link to your next live stream or show or group meeting or whatever it may be. But you need to find a place to connect people, and that the community is now together, right? What happens next? Next, I need to go and serve them. So your content consistently going out not only drew people, it was a method for you to connect people, but now I'm able to serve them. So I serve them the same way, still consistent content. But now I start managing my community, and I give them what they need. I need to find out what they need. what are they struggling with, and I give it to them. And that is where the community comes in, but also the collaboration. So often your community needs something that you don't necessarily have to give. That's why you bring in a collaboration partner and they can serve. That's why I have guest speakers, and we bring in other ministries. Maybe there's a ministry, you need an evangelism arm or something, and you bring in an expert that does that, and they help that. And so that is where it happens. What happens when you serve your community, right? Impact happens. And I want to use another word as well. Impact or transformation happens. People are going to be transformed by this action. That is what's going to happen. And so that's the key here. That's the key here, is through everything that you do in this path, following this path, transformation is going to happen. What happens if I am transformed? I'm telling you, that was my experience. When I experienced transformation, I wanted to serve others. It was just innately driven into me. It was a natural response. And so when you have impact or you have transformation happen, then naturally by serving others, what do I do now? I start creating disciples. I start with discipleship. It is a program where I develop others. And then you come back and then you have more people drawing others by creating content, being involved in the community, serving, etc. And that is how it works. So the framework is content, consistency, community, collaboration. Then the path is draw people. How? The cross methods, using technology to connect, get people together, community, serve them by giving them what they want, and then transformation, impact and transformation happens. And that is your COVID-proof path. And that is basically how this happens. And so I just wanted to come out this morning, and that is what I wanted to share with you. I'm excited about this. I've been sharing it for a couple of months now, and I think it's really valuable because at the end of the day, people are really, I believe they're transformed by that. I believe that if ministries implement this, they really have ministries that grow and that they are transformed. All right, and that's my session for today. I thank you if you watch this, and if you're watching the broadcast afterwards. I want to encourage you to go and just leave me a comment. Ask a question if you want, or just tell me what your thoughts are on what I shared this morning. I'm encouraged by, just being moved to this consistency, this movement, just doing kind of what I believe I'm called to do. I thank you for spending time with me. Encourage me by going into the comments and leaving a thoughtful comment. Just share with me, what are your thoughts on what I shared? What was the most valuable part? Or ask a question. That's great. And then I want to invite you to get connected. 3 big ways. One is connect to, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's called Ministry Media Mastery, and there's lots of great resources there. Get hooked in one of the playlists. Go and check out what's happening there. Secondly is Facebook page. There's a Facebook page called Ministry Media Mastery, Ivan Fiyun. Just go and like the page. But don't just do that. Go and get connected. So use the drop down and say, I would like to see this content first. And so our would get a lot more visibility with you. And the last one is going to SoundCloud. Search for Ivan Fiyun and follow my SoundCloud account. You'll get updates the moment that it is updated. This specific morning show, thank you for joining me today. Using just drinking coffee with us. I had a little bit of water today. But thank you for joining us and spending time with us this morning. And we invite you to come and put it in your calendar, 9:00 Ministry Media Mornings, and come and join us. And you'll get updates from us as soon as that happens. Thank you so much for watching this morning, and I will see you again tomorrow.